Okay. Yes, sir, Mr. Jew. Okay, so, yeah. So the reason why this stuff is falling off the house, we've got it all over this face, is the fact that the sun, this wood right here, it's not really conducive to water-based stain. So what you're seeing here is this wood is extremely hard. It's got a flat sanded surface. So what's happening is that the stain, water-based, does not have any penetration at all, almost zero. It's kind of just a cosmetic. It's like lipstick. It's just put on top. So what happens is it sits on top, and then if there's enough moisture in the air, and then if there's enough sun, what it does is just blisters. So basically what you're seeing here is this has been done multiple times. Obviously, now any of these light spots, say on the left of that vent up there, so on the left of this vent you see these light spots right here. Basically what that is someone else had the same issue and they sanded it. So that's what we can do. I mean, we can get in, we can do the same exact thing, but you're gonna see a lot of that. You're gonna see a lot of this kind of sporadic, kind of mixing left or right, unfortunately, and that's the only bad thing, is that you know, it's just it's kind of a tough situation. This was the wrong material to use on this board. Now the actual stain that's on the T111 siding, which is this style siding, this is more of a plywood. So granted, this side of the house does need it pretty badly up into the eaves. It definitely, I mean, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff over here as well. Yeah, I never like this part of the job because I'm always feel as if I'm just the bearer of bad news. The recent stain work that was done on this house, I'm not sure how long ago, they just stained everything. They stained windows, they stained all the metalwork, they stained the fascia, and they did not stain enough into the plywood up there. So that is not protected unless water-based stain is a protection. Now, if a water-based stain has a UV protector in it, that usually lasts about 12 months and it's gone. When you rate all of the stains in our business, and as you look at all the stains as they go, Behr falls on the very, it's basically pretty much the worst exterior stain for our area. Now in some areas it might be really good, but in our area it is pretty much the worst exterior stain. My suggestion would be maybe to take it over to a Cabot, which seems to have a lot, you know, far better reviews, just far better UV protection. It has an oil hybrid so that it can go over water-based, but at the same time it will penetrate into wood. The back of the house does look pretty good, which is good because usually I think these trees back here are hiding the sun from you when it sets in the summer. I'm seeing a little bit of flaking here and there, you know, but the backside does look pretty good. So I mean that is a good thing. My biggest issue that I'm seeing here, this side does get hit pretty good too. You can see a lot of discoloration in the eaves too. So that's the only thing. As a utilitarian type of person, I kind of lean a little towards, if you know I was going to do 3 sides of a house, I would just do the 4th side too. And obviously the decks look fine. So those don't seem to have a problem, but it's just these flat boards that are very hard, unlike this rough cut grainy stuff that the stain will actually you know, penetrate. You can see here the sheen, very shiny. It just doesn't have anywhere to go, and I can see the flaking's already started on this one too in certain areas, and it's just gonna keep going on here as well. All through here. They've had this trouble before. He's had this trouble before, and that's kind of what unfortunately that's what it looks like. So that leaves us with a couple different options. One of which is, you know, pressure wash, get as much of it off as we can, light sand, and then restain. with the same product, and you'll get a lot of that stuff right there. Or sand these boards down and go with an oil-based stain, and just sand around the windows and all that stuff, which is going to be better in the long run, longevity-wise. But unfortunately, it's also going to be very expensive. So I hate to say that, because we take pride in what we do and we do things right. But this one is going to be a tough one, because just sanding it down and going over the other product is definitely an option. And I would almost suggest that if that is the case, that we run the entire building. Usually the stains we use are about, if you were buying retail like at a Home Depot or something like that, $75 to $80 a gallon. And these houses, I think, were built really well, but some of the final touches and some of the paint work that they did when they came in, they saved a little bit of money. And these are the things. Everything has its Achilles heel, and in Mill Woods, a lot of the time it's the finishes they use that have hindered just the cosmetic approach, while the building and the location and everything is just amazingly beautiful and perfect. So with that said, I can write up a couple ideas, just bounce some stuff off you and let you see. Again, we're not here to gouge anybody, but at the same time, I have to let you know what I see. And I've been in this industry a long time, and I can tell you that we're just going to keep having trouble. You might pay me to come here and do a pressure wash, a light sand, and then to restain all this stuff. And then in a year, maybe 2 years, I'll be back doing it again, especially with a wet winter and a hot summer. So that's the only issue right there. So yeah, so that's kind of where I end up with. Let me write some stuff down. Let me get some stuff going. It looks to me as if the decks, like I said, the decks seem to appear to have really held on well, which is just very surprising to me, because this gets all the action, traffic, as we say. But the decks have held on rather well, most likely because they were sanded prior to this stuff put on. And when you sand, obviously, you have a little bit of grit. You mark up the wood, and it lets the water-based stain get a little bit of a penetration, a grab, a hold, if you will, against the acrylics. So yeah, really pretty stuff, and this stuff will stay this way for a long period of time under here because it's covered. But I mean, there's areas like that, and you're going to start seeing, I'm trying not to get in the sun there, you're going to start seeing mold. Well, there you go, you are starting to see little dots of mold. Right, sorry, it's hard to get this camera to focus without getting in the sun. So because of the fact that water-based stain helps mold, so I'll just put that out there like that. We'll see where it ends up. It looks to me as if, I don't know why this is discolored from that. It could be, it looks like as if it's the same wood. Possibly someone came in and sanded this down and redid it, it looks like, and while up above they just didn't want to get to it. So that's where that is. I'll go ahead and kind of put together a couple ideas and bounce these off you, and we'll go from there. Thank you, and have a good weekend.